Hey everyone, how are you doing today? My name is Mikeda Valletta, also known as the Body Scientist. And in case you're unfamiliar with me, I have a background in exercise and sports science and nutrition science. I'm a strength and conditioning coach and exercise physiologist, and a pole dance instructor, yada, yada, yada. I've been working in the field of fitness for 20 plus years. And I just wanted to do a quick video because just talking about like exercise and the aging. I hope you guys are having a good day too. I've done videos in the past on the importance of strength training, and I am a strength and conditioning specialist. So in case you don't, and I have videos where I talk about that as well, but in case you don't know what that is, strength and conditioning specialist, what we do is we take athletes over a competitive season and we design workouts in the weight room to increase performance and decrease injury. Okay, so to increase performance and decrease injury. So what the workouts you do in the weight room on the off season is different than the preseason, is different than championships. You know, nobody's in peak condition every single day. But when you're a competitive athlete, you have to be in peak condition on certain competition dates. So there's a science behind, you know, the loads, the exercises you do, the program design, the loads, the rest periods, all of that stuff, okay, in terms of increasing explosiveness, strength, endurance, okay? And so we look at the sport or the position in that sport and the biomechanical and physiological demands of that sport or position, also the common stresses, like for example, pitcher. A baseball pitcher is at risk of a spiral fracture. Okay, baseball pitchers put a lot of stress on the shoulders, okay, and it can really injure the shoulders. So a baseball pitcher, let me know if the camera keeps freezing because it's freezing on my end. The internet connection is not that good in here. So a baseball pitcher would have to strength train so that yes, they can throw as hard as possible, right? And you know they can get these accurate pitches, but also so that they're not injured. Because if you're an athlete, you know, high level performance and injury prevention go together. You can't perform at a high level if you're injured, right? So we design strength exercises to increase performance, okay, and decrease the risk of injury. You have a sprinter, like in track and field. Hamstring tears are very common. So with a sprinter, you're going to, you know, put extra effort. Okay, of course, we're training this sprinter separate from what they're doing with their coach. Okay, separate from track practice. In the weight room, they're doing deadlifts, they're doing lunges and squats and certain exercises that can help them explode out the blocks more, right? That can help them accelerate faster, reach top speed faster, and prevent hamstring tears, which are common with sprinters, okay? And that's a major thing because in sprinting, a fraction of a second, like you could have another athlete, power athlete, that might have a slightly jacked up hamstring and they can still perform. Can't do that as a sprinter because everybody is running top speed, and that little bit of injury prevents you from doing that, okay? So, you know, female basketball players and ACL injuries. So you'd be, you know, doing things particularly to help them jump higher, or get their verticals, you know, be able to really perform when championship time comes, but also to prevent them from getting ACL injuries, okay? So that's what a strength and conditioning coach does. Now, most of my clients are regular people, and I just apply the same thing to regular people. I believe that people should train like athletes, okay? I'm not a bodybuilding trainer. You know, bodybuilding is all about looks and posing, okay? It's not about like what can you actually do, okay? Do you have agility? Can you change directions? Can you pick up something or engage in strenuous activity without blowing your back out, okay? Because some people look great. They can be so lean, muscles perfect, whatever, and they have a bad back. They're in chronic pain every day. You know, they have terrible knees. They can't even like, you know, get down. You know what I'm saying? So the looks don't matter when you can't perform. So as a strength and conditioning coach, that's my focus, right? And so what I wanted to talk about today was just like exercise for the aging, right? So, and I'm kind of using my parents as a case study or my inspiration for this video today, because strength training is important, especially as you're aging. Hold on a minute, I can't see. Okay, yeah. Strength training is, let me see, let's figure out. Strength training is important, especially as you're aging, right? Because after about the age of 30, we're on the decline, okay? We're losing a little bit of muscle every year. Now, how much muscle you lose and how quickly depends on what you did before 30 and what you do after, right? So in those building, in not even 30, it could be 25, I don't know, right? According to the textbook. But when you're a kid and you're growing, that's why those formative years are so important. And, you know, if you were engaging in sports and power activities and you had a lot of lean body back then, and you did things to build muscle and not lose muscle, because there's catabolic exercise which causes you to lose muscle, like running marathons and shit. And then there are exercises that are anabolic, like sprinting. Sprinting builds muscle, whereas running for miles burns muscle, okay? So catabolic means it's an exercise that makes you lose muscle. We never want to do that because muscle is shock absorbers in our body, so it takes stress off of joints. Muscles move bones, okay? The reason why I can lift my arm up is because my deltoids, okay, my medial deltoids, assisted by my frontal and my posterior deltoids, are contracting to lift up my arm, okay? So muscles move bones, okay? Muscles are also the metabolic tissue in our body. And so we don't want to do things that cause us to lose muscle. And then muscle is also an endocrine organ as well, okay? So testosterone produces muscle. It's produced by muscle. So, you know, an aging man or an aging woman wouldn't want to be losing muscle because testosterone is important in men and women, okay? And decreasing testosterone is also a problem for women. There's a lot of misconceptions about testosterone, but it's extremely important. And just even having the balance of those hormones. So now, if somebody's aging, you have a lot of people that start getting older. It could be 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, okay? Whatever. And they're like, oh, my knees are hurting now, my back is hurting now, and they think it's because they're getting older. And it's really not so much that they're getting older as much as you're not engaging in anabolic activity to train those muscles for so long. You know, like if people that go years and they're not engaging in strengthening activities, and activities is going to build muscle, okay? Because all activity doesn't build muscles, okay? You're waiting to be added to my subscriptions. You're talking about on Instagram? I didn't know I had to add you. Let me know. Hit me in my inbox if you're having an issue, because I thought that if you subscribed, you were already there. I didn't know I had to add you. So let me know about that. And I'm going to be doing a video later for my subscriptions, speaking more about this medulloblastoma and brain tumor stuff. I'm going to be going a little bit more in depth in that on subscriptions this evening. So, okay, hit me in my inbox and we'll figure it out, because I didn't know I had to add you if you subscribed. So I'll figure it out. And so, yeah, so getting to the, so as someone's aging, if you're not doing things to help you build muscle and maintain your muscle, now you have certain aches and pains, certain performance issues. Maybe it's hard for you to bend over. It's hard for you to get off the floor, get on the floor and get up, okay? It's hard for you to lift simple things. Like I have a good friend of mine, his mom, she's in her 80s, and it's hard for her to sit down and stand up. That's not good. And mind you, they live in South Florida, where in South Florida, you're always in your car, okay? Like most of America, you don't walk, which is one of the great things about aging in New York City, is that you walk. I know people in their 80s. I know a woman who's 96 who lives on my parents' floor, okay, the floor that they live on. This woman is 96. She leaves, she goes out, she walks up the hill, because we live on Sugar Hill, so it's hilly around here. So she comes outside, she walks up a steep hill. As soon as you come out, she does it all the time. She's walking around. She has a house in the Bronx, like up on a steep hill. Okay, she goes over there. She's 96. Okay, there's another woman. I don't know how old this woman is. If I had to guess, you can't tell. She's a Trinidadian woman. She looks like she could be in her 80s, 90. I don't know. This woman has a walker, but she'll come outside. She'll come with the walker, And then, because there's 2 exits out the building. One exit, you have to go up some stairs to get out. She'll go to that exit with a walker. Go up the stairs with her walker, okay? And then go up the hill and go do what she has to do. When you live in a lot of parts of America, you're not doing that. You're rolling up out the house into your car, okay? And that's why when I chose to move out of New York, I strategically chose Chicago because I wanted to be in a city where I did not have to have a car. I'm like, if I want to get a car, okay, but I don't want to have a car, okay? And you can't, most of America, you need a car, which is one of the good things about Europe. You know, I went to London, Paris, Amsterdam, Madrid, never got in a car one time, not once. There was no reason, okay? And so the United States is terrible with that. And New York is an exception. Chicago is like, second, Chicago's decent. It's not as good as New York, but you could do it depending on where you are and what your life consists of. So, being forced to move around, okay, that's one thing. But then besides the walking and just using your body, you want to engage in strength-bearing activities. Weight-bearing activities is going to help increase your lean body mass. So I noticed, my dad is 81. Yeah. He'll be 82 this year. My mother's 74. And I noticed when my mom's washing dishes, she's like leaned over at the sink. Both my parents, when they're washing dishes, they're like kind of leaned over at the sink. And I'm like, I can see that. And I'm like, is your back, are you having back issues? And I already know that they're not, my mom does yoga, but I already know that they're not strength training like they should. So I gave them, some back exercises to do. One of them, I showed my mom some years ago. She remembered it, and I coached my dad through it. And, putting him, and the thing is, it's interesting being a trainer, right? Because I've been doing what I do for I've been training people for over 20 years, okay? Started off with group fitness when I was in college and, became a USA Olympic weightlifting coach, a strength and conditioning specialist, and a lot of people, and also as a dancer, okay? A lot of things are mental, okay? Now, a good trainer or a good coach can see what somebody's capable of, okay? And people have gifts. Like, somebody could go to school for massage. It doesn't mean they're a good massage therapist, it's also part gift, all right? I think the same thing is true when it comes to just working on people's bodies, period, and even with being a trainer. And it's like, for me, I know I'm very good. A well-trained trainer can tell what somebody's capable of. And you can tell when somebody is truly fatigued, what I call mental fatigue. When I train people, I take notes, very detailed notes when I train people. And there are certain people who I'm looking at them and I know that they're not truly fatigued. It's what I call mental fatigue. And mental fatigue is when they just can't take the burn anymore. So mentally, they're like, I can't do it anymore. But I know that they can. And in those times when you feel like you can't do it anymore, you have to focus on the breath even more. And your technique even more. And when you get to that point where you can no longer maintain your technique, no matter what you do, you're going to have to compensate and lose your form. That's when you know you are fatigued and you're done. You don't want to keep going with sloppy form. Technique is everything. Technique is everything. And that's the problem with people just doing workouts in their house and doing stuff. A lot of people aren't doing things right. And when you don't do exercises correctly, you either don't get the results and or you injure yourself, okay? And nobody has time to be getting injured, okay? Who's trying to have an injured back? That's a nagging issue, okay? Who's trying to have injured knees? Our knees are the most stressed joints in our body. They carry us around our entire life. You know what I'm saying? Who is trying to have jacked up shoulders, okay? Shoulders are the most unstable joint in the body, okay? Once you have a shoulder injury, it's almost permanent. You have to do a lot to maintain, build up strength and stability in that joint again. So if you're going to get some type of injury like that, let it be for a good reason, not because you were working out wrong, okay? So technique is very important, and how you breathe, okay? How you breathe when you do certain exercises, okay? And so I'm becoming a lot, very interested in doing a lot of things for people who are 60 and older, because, nutrition, fitness is important at all ages. But in the sooner you and it's also a lifestyle. It's not like, I'm just going to work out for a couple months for the summer. It is something that you have to always be doing. Okay, you have to always be doing it. And when I was younger, I used to think like, oh, I don't want to take it, my body for granted. Like I was active, I was, dancing and, in the weight room and just physical. I've always been physical my whole life. And I didn't want to, and I thought ahead about how I want to age and how I don't want my body to just fall apart. You know what I'm saying? And I can say just in the past 2 years of me being a graduate student in the sciences, which is a lot of work. And, the amount of money I'm spending on school, the amount of time I have to sit down and study and sit down and work. And just the little things. Like I still go to the gym, but just the little, like there was, 7 years ago, I was in the pole several hours a week, in several dance classes. And I've done this for years. And what I've seen with people who, like my dance teachers, I have dance teachers in New York that I've been studying with since 2006. In 2006, they were in their 40s. Now it's 2024. These people don't look any different. They have the same amount of stamina and energy. They can outdance me on any day. They could outdance me back then, and they can do it now. I have a dance teacher from when I was a kid. He taught me ballet. He lives in my parents' building. He taught me ballet at Harlem School of the Arts. This man is still a dance teacher, and he was grown when I was a little kid. And he's still a dance teacher, and he barely looks any different to me, okay? And so the thing that I've learned is that you have to keep on dancing. You have to keep on doing it, okay? This is not for a few months. It's a lifestyle. You have to engage in strenuous activity, but you also need to strength train because there's something that's called the weekend warrior, where a lot of people think, oh, like let's say they work a desk job, right? And then they're like, oh, on the weekend, I'm going to go play golf with my friends. I'm going to go play tennis. I'm going to go play basketball. Or whatever sport it is they're going to play with their friends on the weekend. And they end up severely injured. Because you are not conditioned. Okay, again, a strength and conditioning specialist is what I am. And what I said was, we design workouts in the weight room, independent of what the athletes do at practice. Okay, at practice, the coach is teaching them the game, the plays of the game, the strategies of the game, the techniques of the game, the techniques of how to do a better jump shot, and da-da-da-da. The strength and conditioning coach, we're giving them the exercises in the weight room, periodized methods, so that they can be at their top on certain days, okay? And prevent injury and increase performance, okay? Increase the vertical jump, increase the 40-yard dash, increase, their mile time, whatever the measurement might be for that sport. So, sorry. Okay. So when you think about that and you apply that to a regular person, an aging person, if you are not, I was talking about the weekend warrior, yeah. So regular people that just work regular jobs and they go play basketball and whatever in the weekends, they have a high rate of injury because playing sports, just like life, going and shoveling snow, moving boxes, getting on a plane and picking up a heavy suitcase, life can put stress on us, on our body. So like the same thing that's applied to an athlete, where if you're playing soccer or you're playing basketball, or you're running track or whatever, it can put certain stresses. Baseball pitching, right? There's certain stresses that it can put on you. The same thing can happen just in regular life, right? So I hope I made that point. So for me, when I'm looking at people who are aging at any time, but especially when you're aging and you are at a point where you're losing a lot of muscle, okay? Especially if you're not making a conscious effort. Like if you could be 60 and you start strength training, it's never too late. But the sooner the better. If you start at 60, it's better than not starting at all. But ideally, you want to start way sooner than that. But doing what's necessary to just, build up that muscle so that it's maintaining your metabolism. Also, keeping people who become diabetic, that's a blood sugar issue. Strength training and engaging in strenuous activity eats up that sugar. Okay, so it helps with blood sugar issues. Okay. It helps with maintaining your joints, okay? If anybody has bad knees, bad back, or your back is feeling weak, you always want to strengthen the muscles around the joint, okay? And so that's what I, was doing for my parents, giving them back exercises. You also want to work opposing muscle groups, okay? So if you're working the back, you need to work the abs. You're working the back, you need to work the front. Okay, you always want to work opposing muscle groups for one. It needs to be balanced. It's about the technique, and it's about how you're breathing. Because not breathing correctly can also get you injured, especially when you have a load, when you're strength training. But if not that, it can also make you fatigued a lot sooner. So it can make it a lot harder for you to get through as many reps because you're not breathing properly. And so if you can't do as much, you're not going to really get results. If you have to stop at 6 because you're not breathing properly, but if you were breathing properly, you could have done 16, then now you're not doing as much as what your body's capable of. In order for you to become stronger, and in order for you to increase your muscle tissue, you have to push your body to fatigue. If you're stopping sooner than that, oh, I feel burned, okay, I'm going to stop. Oh, I'm going to do a little lightweight stuff. That's not what evokes changes in your body. That's not how you increase your lean body mass, your muscle. Also, your bones. Strength training and engaging in that also helps to keep your bones strong as you age. Okay, so this is really important. Like strength training for people as they age is incredibly important. Okay, it's incredibly important at 60, at 70, at 80, and all those ages. Incredibly important. Not jogging. Okay, in New York, I see people, I see old people, jogging around in Central Park. They look like they're falling apart. That puts so much stress on their joints. And then jogging is not good in the first place, but if you just love to jog, you definitely have to strength train to counteract the muscle that you're losing from doing that. And also to counteract the pure stress that's going onto your joints, onto your knees, onto your back from running on that concrete. Okay? So just understand that you should engage in things like I'm a dancer. I'll always be a dancer. I might play beach volleyball. You want to go play basketball? Do all of that. Engage in strenuous activity. Go hiking up some mountain. Go walk up some stairs. That's what I'm gonna have my parents do next, because they're in a building with several flights. So I'm going to have them start walking stairs. Okay. Walk up the stairs, walking down the stairs for a few flights. And a lot of that is teaching them how to breathe properly. And my dad is interesting because my mom was difficult in the beginning, where she'd be like, oh, I can't do this or whatever. My dad's always telling me what he can't do. And a lot of what, as a trainer, it's a good trainer knows what somebody's capable of. Okay. But first they're assessing the person. I assess people. So I get a baseline to see where you are. And once I've worked with you once or twice, I know what you're capable of doing. And some people think they're not capable of doing things. And what a good trainer does is gets your mind to focus on doing it. And part of that is breathing properly. But your mind has to be in it. And the more your mind is in it when you're doing certain movements, the more nerves that you will get that will innervate that muscle. The more nerves that innervate a muscle, the more control you have over that muscle, the more feeling you have in that muscle. Okay? And you want to be able to have control over your muscles. That's important as we age. You want to be able to have control over your muscles. And that includes the muscles in your pelvic floor. All of it. Okay? So it's not just about going through exercises and doing them stop you with bad technique. No, you got to get your technique is everything. You got to get your mind in. You got to visualize. You got to know how to breathe properly. All of that matters to get what you're supposed to get out of exercise. A lot of people are like, oh, exercise and diet doesn't work. I tried, it doesn't work. A lot of people aren't doing diet and exercise properly. A lot of people aren't. There's a lot of misinformation. A lot of people also expect quick. You have to understand it's a lifestyle. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the work always. Always. Okay? If you want to be healthy and you want to age well, and you want to be functional, you have to put in the work always. Okay? So as I'm going to end that with that, because I just wanted to say that. I'm on my way to the gym myself. And I think I made my point. So if you like this video, if you learned something from it, please like it, please share it. Follow me on YouTube, The Body Scientist 81. Follow me on Instagram at _body_scientist. And I'm going to start going live on my YouTube page and I don't know what I'm going to do it, but I'm going to start doing something where people can ask me questions. Like you send a donation or you ask me a health question and I'll answer it right there in the video. Because a lot of times people do have questions. And I'm always here to work with people one-on-one. But I'm going to start doing that where it's like, okay, I'm on for 30 minutes or whatever, 40 minutes, and you can ask a question, send a donation, and I'll answer it. Okay, a health question. So yeah, if you have older people in your family, if you can encourage them to move and strength train, you yourself need to do that. Okay, strength train and do other things that, engage in strenuous activity on a regular basis. Okay, important. All right, so have a good day, and I'm off to the gym, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day. Bye.